Thanks for tuning into Star Goblin Radio. Got some Phantasy Star TTRPG updates for you all. We've got new art, and descriptions of the professions and species are now posted on skydawgames.com. Diving into the art, we have a picture from Phantasy Star 1 depicting the main character, Elise Landale, her companion, Meow the Muscat, and they're on the planet Dazorus fighting a Frostman. Elise is wielding her lightsaber, which is the best weapon money can buy from your local retailer. She's casting a spell that appears to be the fire spell based on the flames leaping up from it. Meow is wielding a silver fang in his mouth, and around his neck is a bottle of Alsolin. This medicine can be used to restore somebody who's been turned to stone back to normal form, if only you have thumbs to open the bottle. This particular photo came from Instagram through one of the Skydawn Game advertisements on their stories. Next, from the skydawngame.com website, we have this photo from Phantasy Star 3. Phantasy Star 3 takes place over 3 generations of family members. The first generation starts with the main character, Reese, and he's depicted in the middle here. Next to him is Mew, the android. On the left is the Princess Lena, one of the 2 people who Reese can marry at the end of his story arc, and she's wielding a needler. The scene looks like it depicts the fall of Lachute, which is a city that collapses towards the end of the 3rd generation of the game. But these 3 characters are from the 1st generation, so that wouldn't make sense for the timeline. Not sure if the artist is just depicting multiple things together from the 3rd game in one scene, or if there's something I'm not remembering from the 3rd game and not able to find in my review of that game's story. If you've got more insight and a better memory of Phantasy Star 3, let me know in the comments. I'm sure the other viewers would greatly appreciate it too. This last piece of art is titled Utopian City. I think it's been on skydawgames.com for a while now, and I just overlooked it. It was hidden behind the mailing list sign-up image, and this one also has me stumped. It might be Paisio from Phantasy Star 2, the capital of Motavia, or as Phantasy Star 2 calls it at this time, Mota. I think this because some of the lanterns or lighting look similar to those in the remake of the game, Phantasy Star Generations 2, as well as some of this plant life. That being said, during Phantasy Star 2, Mother Brain had shut down all starship transportation, so either this would predate that, or I'm completely off here. It is possible this is from Phantasy Star Online. If you recognize this city, again, let me know in the comments. I'm very interested in knowing the answer to this. Next, skydawgames.com has expanded the website to include a Learning the Game section. This includes some details on the species players can choose to create their characters from, as well as the professions those characters can occupy. Of the 6 species available, it's noteworthy that Beastkin is not one of them. In the early designs of the TTRPG, Beastkin was going to be a player species. However, as things have evolved, it was decided that Phantasy Star Universe would not be covered in the core book, and so Beastkin, which originated in that game, sadly won't be included in it either. The game's designer has spoken multiple times about his desire to create supplemental books to expand to other games and lore, specifically Phantasy Star Universe, so hopefully if this game sells well, we will see that in the future. Of the available 6 species, first we have androids, represented by Kirik, the android from Phantasy Star Online. Androids are self-aware cybernetic beings with enhanced senses, resistances, and stamina. Representing my fellow humans, we have Red Ring Rico. Humans are the most populous species. They're adaptable with a variety of environmental traits. For the Numans, we have Nay from Phantasy Star 2. Numans are enhanced humanoids. They have heightened senses and natural prowess. My boy Raja from Phantasy Star 4, depicting the Dazolians, who are natives of Dazolis, the ice planet. They have keen instincts and inherent magical abilities. Also from Phantasy Star 4 is Grizz, the Motavian. Motavians are from the once desert planet Motavia. Motavians have natural endurance and can survive in extreme climates. And finally, we have Meow the Muscat. Muscats are small, agile, cat-like creatures with strong ties to mystical forces. With these 6 final species confirmed and these descriptions, we can start to imagine the traits and mechanical features that these species will each have. Next, we have 7 professions confirmed and some details on those. First, we have the Guardian, represented by Rolf from Phantasy Star 2. Guardians are heroic defenders and champions of light. They can take on the role of cosmic defender or aim to deliver swift justice upon the forces of darkness. I'm thinking that these Guardians may be similar to Paladin from 5th edition, but with techniques that give them access to offensive spells. I'm also guessing that Elise Landale is a Guardian, though her character sheet classifies her as a Sentinel. As Sentinel is not a profession that's been listed here, I'm thinking Sentinel might be a sub-profession of the Guardian profession. Next we have the Hunter. Expert explorers and trackers, hunters brave the galactic wilds in search of monsters and threats. They can be deadly frontline fighters or instead specialize in ranged tactics and reconnaissance. We do have confirmation that hunters have two paths. One of them is vanguards. They specialize in frontline melee combat, as well as having technique access, as well as rangers who can use guns and rifles and have features that support those weapons. Bruto is a hunter from Phantasy Star 2 and sounds like he's likely a ranger, as he also specializes in firearms, and doesn't have access to techniques, which Skydon Games only mentions the Vanguard can access. The next profession is Mystic, with Rika from Phantasy Star 4. Mystics are agile combatants and spiritual healers. Mystics can unleash crippling strikes upon their foes. Their support techniques are invaluable when exploring dangerous regions. I'm interested in hearing more about this profession, as it doesn't sound like any D&D class and more like a hybrid of a few things, and so should be somewhat unique. If I had to guess, Meow from Phantasy Star 1 is likely also a Mystic. Here, the Thief from Phantasy Star 2 represents the operative, who's an expert in infiltration, investigation, and subterfuge. Operatives specialize in uncovering secrets, acquiring rare goods, and getting into hard-to-reach places. This sounds very much like a D&D rogue, though I do wonder what the 2 or potentially 3 different paths of subprofession are for this. Should be very interesting. The next profession is Savant, who are engineers, scientists, and specialists. Savants are armed with powerful techniques and endowed with power of biomanipulation and mechanical control. This would represent characters like Amy, the Doctor, and Josh Kane, the Wrecker Mechanic, from Phantasy Star 2. I'm very interested in this profession as well, as it's likely inspired by classes from Esper Genesis, which really break the Dungeons & Dragons mold, and should be unlike anything we've seen from 5th edition D&D. The next profession is what we would consider a spellcaster, though I imagine most of these professions have access to techniques. The Thaumaturge is a channeler of arcane power and elemental energy. They are the quintessential caster, shaping primal forces into potent techniques and magical spells. It's been confirmed that the Thaumaturge splits into two paths: the Esper, which represents the wizards and spellcasters from the original 4 games, as well as Force being magic users and elemental technique users from Phantasy Star Online. And the last profession is the Warrior, who are masters of arms and armor. Warriors are versatile fighters, combining tactical expertise with specialized gear to unleash devastation on the battlefield. Representing the warrior is the android Ren from Phantasy Star 3 and Phantasy Star 4, and the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear warrior is Odin the warrior from Phantasy Star 1. I expect he will also fall into this category. And with that, I'm out of updates, but the game's coming out pretty soon here. We're already to the summer, and this game is supposed to be released late summer. I expect as that release date fast approaches, we'll continue to get the trickle of information, which for us means more Star Goblin Radio updates, and I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully you are too. I'm planning a Star Goblin surprise for August, so good things to come as well. If you appreciate this channel, you know what to do. You click the subscribe, you click the like, and until next time...